Hello, welcome to Chapter 2 of the Daily Academy podcast, the Advanced Bankroll Management. I'm here with the author, Christopher Ruckus, at Space Jam 23 DFS. I'm Big Italy 42, and he's going to be running here through this Chapter 2. In Chapter 1, we talked about deciding and figuring out where you're the most profitable and least profitable, which games to target, where you have the most success and least success. So we're going to kind of expand on that in this podcast. Well, Chris is going to expand on this in this podcast. So why don't you give us the next step? Once you figured out what we talked about in the last chapter, what do you do next?
Yeah, so last chapter, chapter 1, we talk about what games you're playing, what's your ROI at each game. You know, that's great to know, but how do you actually implement it? So moving forward into this chapter, chapter 2, it talks about the implementation of it. So exactly, you know, how you're allocating your money. So I'm just going to actually give you an example I used in my pod or in the article. It's just going to be easier for you guys to understand. So customized for player 1 bankroll. So the player 1, we'll call him Justin, has a $5,000 bankroll at 15% daily play. So he's playing 15% of his money a day, $5,000. So it's about, it's $750 he's playing in some form of the games listed below. Those games are going to be 50-50s, leagues, which are 3-mans and 10-mans, head-to-heads, and GPPs. I also gave you the ROI for them. So his 50-50 ROI was 25%. His leagues were 17%. His head-to-heads were 14%. And his GPPs were 7%. So I went down from best to worst. So his 50-50s were 25%. His GPPs were 7%. And everything in between. So with that being said, we essentially run up a little bit of a formula, I guess you can say, of how you decide to wager your money. Most players say, okay, I'm going to play 80% cash games, 20% GPPs. Of my cash games, 75% are going to head-to-head, 25% are going to 50-50s. Why? There's no rhyme, no reason. It's just, yeah, that's what I'm going to do because that's what everyone else does. Now, yeah, that's a great baseline for when you're starting, but when you're wagering a significant amount of money, you need to be putting that money towards the appropriate game. So to figure out how much you should wager, we do a very simple task. Step 1, you add up all your ROIs. So your head-to-head, your 50-50s, GPPs, you get a number. In our sake, our number was 63. So the guy's just baseline number is 63. Step 2 is you divide each of your ROIs by your total. So in our instance, we have 63. So for our 50-50s, we had a 25% ROI. So you do 25 divided by 63 equals 40%. So 40% of your $750 you wager per day needs to be allocated towards 50-50 games based on your ROIs. Going down the list, you go to your leagues at 27%, your head-to-heads at 22%, and your GPPs at 11%. When you break it down, you see that's a big difference from what you were previously doing.
Huge.
And it's tailored to you. It's not tailored to the general public. This is what you do. So now, we talked earlier that your allocation's like 80-20. When we break that down, we look at it and we say, okay, now of my $750, 297 is going towards 50-50s, 202 is going towards leagues, 167 is going towards head-to-heads, and 83 is going towards GPPs. For anyone that doesn't believe me, add that up and it will add to $750. And that is a perfect allocation of your money. It's just, your money is working for you and what is the best games to play. Now, obviously you say, okay, well, 50-50s are 25% of my ROI. Why don't I play 100% of them? I don't blame you. I don't hate it, but most people like to have a diversity in games. It's you look at it as a portfolio. It's different.
Yeah.
You played 50. Yeah, I mean, if you play 50,
you cap your upside too.
Exactly. You're only going to win, not double your money because of this thing called rake. So when you do that, you're not going to always, and you're also going to have a lot of variance because one day you win 100%, the next day you win 0%. So that becomes, and it's just not fun to play one game. It's nice to have a different assortment of games. So this is a really easy way to do it. And, that's the chunk of this chapter. The next part of this chapter, it's not really anything I can tell you how to do it, or what you're doing. But it's about tracking tracking your results. So it's no surprise that there's a lot, quote unquote, lineup selling tout companies in DFS, which makes it harder. I mean, let's be honest. If you have a good player that's selling lineups to 10 bad players, you now have 11 good players, not one. So, with that being said, games change. You might be a great 50-50 player, but now that one player sells his lineup to 20 people who are now 50% of your field, which you're competing against the best. So your ROI will likely dip. So understanding and tracking it on a day-to-day basis and saying, listen, this is my ROI this is where it is now, why? You can look at the average score of a 50-50. Obviously, it's going to be higher, but why? Are you seeing same lineups? And, DFS is going to get harder. Any industry gets harder. If it got easier, everyone would lose because there'd be one winner.
Yeah.
So it's going to get harder. So just track your results and play the games that you're best at.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great point there. I mean, you don't want to maximize or minimize your upside and cap it by only playing cash games, but you want to give yourself that ability. So you got to find that perfect middle ground for you. And so take Chris's advice here. Go through your results. Figure out what's working for you, what's not working for you. Obviously, you want to have a decent sample size. Chris recommends 5,000 games here. Obviously, not everyone has played that sort of volume yet, but, take however many you have, maybe give it a month into the season. It's about a month in if you've been playing all the way so far. So just take advantage of those statistics, and then you're going to maximize your profit potential every night. All right, check us out on Twitter at DF Cafe. We are at dailyfantasycafe.com. Chris is at Space Jam 23 DFS if you got any questions about this, and we will see you guys next time.